Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual happy hour. I'm Lon Hudman, Vice President of Events and Marketing at Soul Naturals, and I'm joined by Hope Anderson. Hope.
Thank you,
and
Lon.
we will serve as your co-host tonight. And we have an extraordinary program tonight with a fantastic presenter. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's true. So I've personally been super excited for tonight because Jessica Nelson Sanford is going to come on. She is a certified holistic fitness and behavioral health specialist, and I have to have that down there and read it because otherwise I forget. But we're super excited. She just opened up her own fitness and wellness studio, actually. And she knows a ton about the topic that we're talking about tonight, which is healthy weight loss. Which also, if you've been following along, goes along with the whole SoulFit challenge that we've been doing since the 5th of this month. So we're super excited because she's going to come in and be able to give us some more details. I even saw Deanne Isbell on here was saying she was already excited to hear about what she has to say about under eating. It's because she's going to hit on some pretty important topics that I think everyone wants to know more about.
And we are in the middle of the SoulFit challenge.
We are.
It's week 3. And the focus this week is on movement, getting up and moving. And in fact, I want to tell you, I have found an exercise. I discovered an exercise that is foolproof. It is guaranteed to help you lose weight.
I'm already smiling. I don't know what's next.
No,
but
I'm telling you, this works. It's simple. Anyone can do it. In fact, I can even show you how to do it right now.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Here's all you do.
And it guarantees weight loss? Is what you said?
Guaranteed weight loss. Guaranteed weight loss.
Okay.
Okay. All you do, okay, is you move your head first to the left.
Am I supposed to do it with you?
You can if you want.
Oh, okay.
First to the left, then to the right, then again to the left, then again to the right. And you repeat that anytime anyone asks you if you want dessert. And that, I guarantee you, will help you lose weight. That's my exercise tip for the day.
Oh, goodness. Except I actually could not do that because dessert is my favorite meal of the day. So, but that's awesome.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit. Let's introduce our presenter.
Yeah,
let's get right to it.
Bring up
All right.
Jessica. Hey, Jessica.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am great. I'm coming to you from my studio right now because all of my family is at home and this is always easier. I'm by myself, so.
That's awesome.
Well, we are so excited to have you join us and look forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much for having me. Y'all really hyped me up. I hope I live up to it.
We believe in you. It's okay.
I'm excited, so thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. No worries. It looks like we're just trying to get your slides up for you. So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, yes, my name is Jessica Sanford, and I have been in the fitness and wellness health realm for a while now, and it really all started with my own journey, but I am a certified holistic fitness and behavioral health specialist. I know that's a mouthful. I've been a soul specialist for about 3 years, and I fell in love with the whole holistic approach. I was definitely, really tired of the diet mentality and all that stuff, which we'll get into. So I consider soul a breath of fresh air. And I did open up my own fitness and wellness studio in January. So we're a newbie, but I have worked in studios and centers before. So I'm not new to the area. I'm just new to owning it. And it's really fun for me because I get to it's a different approach. We're not your typical gym. We're very much a learning studio, and I sprinkle in as much of, holistic health as I can. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first main slide. So you've got to know where you are to know how, to know how to get to where you want to be. So there's a couple of main things with as far as assessment goes. So I really encourage people to start with, self-assessment or have some sort of practitioner or specialist or, someone who's versed in all the things that kind of make up where you are when it comes to your health journey, because there's so much more to the picture than just, your measurements and your weight and all of that. Because, as a fitness specialist, a lot of people come to me because they want to lose weight. So of course they think I'm going to tell them, you've got to start exercising all the time. You've got to, have a restricted diet. You've got to start counting your calories and, all of this stuff. You've got to give up your favorite foods. Well, that's not exactly what I tell them at all. I really tell them, let's start with figuring out where you are. And so we kind of do, there's some really simple assessments. We even have some tools through Soul that are really great to use. And it kind of gives you an overall picture of like the different areas of life that you have focus in, the different bodily functions that, your systems all kind of work together, but yet you may struggle in certain areas. So it's always good to know, about your energy and your stress and your sleep and your digestion. There's so many areas that are, it's really important to take into account how all those are going for you, because, jumping into some sort of diet that you read online or, something that everybody else in the gym is doing or whatever may not necessarily be what you need to do. And then also there's a lot of micronutrient deficiencies. It's pretty common, even if you eat pretty healthy. We'll get into a little bit more of this about how today's food isn't necessarily as healthy as we would really expect it to be with the labeling that goes on and all of that. It's actually really hard for us to get the nutrients that we really need just from our food. So if you are nutrient deficient, it's likely leading to all these other issues that just trying to, diet and exercise more would not fix for you. All right, ready for the next slide? Okay, so as I said, as a fitness and health specialist, the majority of people come to me for help with weight loss. And a lot of people think that I'm going to make them do all these things. They think suffering should be involved and that you should be suppressing your appetite and, just eating less and moving more. But what I actually have them do is what we just talked about with the assessment and really starting to track your habits. So I come from a behavior analysis background. And when I shifted to more of the health habits realm, it's the same principles. You're reinforced for doing certain things, you're punished for doing other things, and a lot of it starts with your mindset and understanding, okay, I have to have awareness about what I'm doing every day, because how you live your days is how you live your life. So you really need to key into, what am I doing each day that's either setting me up to have a mostly healthy day or a mostly unhealthy day? And then learning how to set goals in each of those areas so that you're creating those little habits every day. They're going to build up over time. So the more you practice them and kind of set yourself up to come in contact with some sort of reinforcement for changing your habits, those are just going to become habits. You don't have to think about it anymore. It's just going to be where you're going to, maybe look at food a little closer in the grocery store before you buy it. You're going to cook extra when you cook so that you have enough food left over for another meal that's healthy. You're going to park further away and take more steps, when you go to the grocery store or whatever. There's lots of little things that you can do that add up big over time. And we're going to talk about, and if you do our holistic health and weight loss starter kit, it is fantastic because it comes with a guide. And I know you've probably heard us talk a little bit about this if you've tuned in before, but we kind of highlight three main pillars. And then I have a program that I kind of run along with it for my clients that we get into even deeper to two more pillars. And it's really just hydration and sleep, which we also talk about with the guide. But I just have a little bit more information that go with that. So I like to think of it as 5 pillars: mindset, nutrition, hydration, sleep, and movement. So let's go to the next slide. So when you set goals across these different pillars of health, when we start with mindset, this is like how you think about yourself, the thoughts that you have, the words that you use to describe your food. Instead of saying good and bad food, I use healthy and unhealthy, or food that helps me feel good and food that helps me feel not so good. It's really a good idea to not demonize food, to not or any other habits really that you come across that you're wanting to help you create a healthier lifestyle. And then just being okay with slowing down and taking that time to realize if you don't take care of yourself first, nobody else is. Especially if you're, if you have a loved one, children, whatever, if you're a caregiver, you've got to take care of yourself first, and kind of getting into that spot where you can have that mindset switch to realizing that your health has to be a priority for all the other things in your life to kind of be balanced. You'll find really, really sets you up for more success. But that's why mindset is the first pillar and is so important. So then we go into nutrition, and nutrition is not like, you'll notice if you use our starter kit and follow the guide, there's no specific way to eat. And all the time people want a meal plan from me. Now I can write meal plans for you until I'm blue in the face, but guess what? You may have foods that cause you inflammation that may be healthy foods, or they just don't work well for you. So I love for people to learn how to tune in to what works for them. Now, there are other tools you can use. There's, diagnostic hair tests for like sensitivities and intolerances. I know there's some, blood tests out there that people do with, allergies and whatnot, but you'll be amazed what you can accomplish if you kind of start to learn the symptoms of inflammation and just eat your food for a short period of time just to kind of see how your body is doing. And so changing your relationship with food and realizing that you should be enjoying your meals, that you should, not have added stress because you're trying to eat healthier. So that's part of that whole mindset shift. And then really getting to a point where it's kind of just second nature for you to want to pick that healthier food, because guess what? When you start to feel better because you're choosing healthier foods, you're going to be reinforced to keep choosing those healthier foods. Now, I would never tell you to give up your desserts, Hope. I don't give up mine. I definitely, strike a balance because I love chocolate, and, I still eat pizza. I still, indulge in things, once in a while. But if you have an overall healthy or an overall healthy week, over time, that really adds up. So the more you deprive yourself, obviously the more miserable you would be, but you'll also be less likely to last long term. So instead of that diet mentality, it's really important to kind of shift more into like better, not perfect mentality, where eating just a little bit better today, or having slightly more positive thoughts today, or taking a few more steps. All of that is better than the day before, or better than I used to be. And we're not shooting for perfect, because there is no perfect. And if you're waiting for perfection, it just kind of feels like you're setting yourself up for failure, right? So, I really stress the whole better, not perfect mentality myself. And when we get into hydration, it's important to be well hydrated, especially if you're, those nutrients that you're taking in from your food, from your adaptogen blends, you've got to be able to carry them throughout your body and get them into the cells of all over your body so that it can do the job it needs to do, because we need a variety of nutrients every day. It's very important to vary your food, to vary your supplementation, so that you're, getting a good, well-rounded amount of all the different things you need for all the different functions your body needs to do. So water is the messenger of those nutrients and very important, and it just keeps everything flowing. And then you've got sleep. And if you struggle with sleep, there's obviously usually something else going on health-wise that if you can kind of balance out, you'll notice that you sleep better. You'll notice that you have more energy and all of that. So if you have struggles with sleep, there's definitely some, hormone balancing or something that might need to be, kind of addressed. So it's important to track your sleep, to kind of know how much you're getting. And it's, the general, everybody needs a different amount. And just like everybody needs a different amount of food, and all of that, different kinds of exercise. Same with kind of sleep. There's just like kind of a general range of, 6.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep is recommended. Now, obviously, if you're a parent of a young child, that's very difficult to get solid sleep. But it's a great goal to work towards. And there's so many other health benefits. It's like the most underrated pillar of health, the daily habit. Everybody has to sleep every day. So it's not like you can just avoid it. It's going to happen, and you need to set yourself up for it to be, a healthy habit. And then I skipped over movement, which we are talking about this week in the Big Sulfate Challenge. And obviously, if you're somebody who's never worked out consistently and you don't really know much about it, it is important not to just jump into some crazy extreme program. And you don't ever have to be extreme if you don't want to. It's really important to find something that you enjoy doing, whether it's just walking or, you can meet up with a friend and walk outside. Or if you want to join a gym or a studio like mine, we're a class-based studio. And so all the workouts are programmed and everybody might be doing something different, but we're all going to end up doing the same thing by the time the class is over. We have all done the same programming. So you just come in, you don't have to think about it. So a lot of people like that. Or if an open gym is more your speed, where you just want to go in and do your own thing, or if you just want to do stuff at home. I've worked out at home for years too, and there's a lot you can do. But moving with purpose does so much for your brain chemistry, and not only that, but also obviously helps the rest of your body be healthy. So we'll move on to the next slide. So the foods, the drinks, and some supplements that are out there are causing people poor gut health and those nutritional deficiencies where we're talking about inflammation and more. So the food industry is a big business. So they're not really in it for your health. And I could go on and on and on about this forever, and I will try not to because I don't want to go too far over my time. But there are certain ingredients in processed foods that, like, your body is just not going to recognize it, can't use it as nutrition. And so it kind of just like ping pongs around in there. It may get stuck in your fat cells. It may, end up just, as toxins in your bloodstream or whatever. There's studies out there that have shown that, the same kind of animal or whatever, even same kind of people, they've got some now with like people eating, the same amount of calories, but one has more processed foods and the other one has more whole foods. And I'm talking like the two sets of groups are still eating sandwiches, but like one is like the white bread, the processed meat, the processed cheese product, and all of that or whatever. And then the other people have like, whole wheat bread, more fresh products, more fresh food in the sandwich, and same amount of calories, all of that. And the group that ate more whole foods was able to lose weight easier. So it's just important to kind of know what's in your food and to eat more as close to nature as that food is. One of the things that is in so much food now, obviously sugar is a huge one, but also oils. There's a lot of, I'm sorry, I'm from Alabama, that might not be how everybody says this, oil. A lot of oils in food that's like soybean oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, which, vegetable oil sounds like it's supposed to be from vegetables, right? It's not. But anyway, it's one of the leading causes of inflammation as far as ingredients goes, and it's even in a lot of healthy food. Like on the front of certain packaging, it might say heart healthy. Even it might. There's I won't call it the brands, but there's some of like peanuts, and it says heart healthy, but you turn it over and it's roasted in canola oil or soybean oil or whatever, and that's just not heart healthy. It's most of those oils are all cause everybody inflammation, have some sort of reaction. So it's just really good to not fall for the marketing. If it says like low fat, low calorie, if it says sugar free, usually if it's sugar free, and it wasn't, sometimes stuff is already gluten free, sugar free, or vegan, but they add it on there just so it'll catch eyes. But sometimes it's put on there because if they take sugar out of foods, they're going to add more fat to it to compensate for the taste. Same with fat-free, there's probably added sugar to it to compensate for that taste change. So again, it's really a good goal just to start reading ingredient lists and try to figure out what's actually in your food, because the fewer ingredients you can consume if you're going to eat something that's packaged or processed, and I'm not saying you can't ever, because I still do, I just read the ingredient list and try to choose options that are mostly whole foods. So if there's a commercial for that food, it's probably not very healthy, right? All right, next slide, please. And you might be thinking, where do I start with all of this? Now, I know that sounds like a lot of information, but I promise you, if you dig in a little deeper and really take more of a holistic approach to your overall health and to weight loss, you're going to have more long-term results. You're going to actually change your lifestyle versus just, adopting an extreme diet just because you're so ready to just shed some weight. Now, I'm not going to hate on anybody for doing some sort of, extreme jump start. I'm not judging. I'm just saying from my experience, from my personal experience and the work that I've done with my members and my clients, if the people who actually, lose weight and keep it off and are happy and not obsessive about food or their weight or whatever, they really focus on a more holistic approach, as in, like we talked about, they're not just concerned with food, they're concerned with, learning how to meditate or taking that time for themselves to just sit in the quiet and the stillness. Maybe they started gratitude journaling. There's all these different ways to kind of improve your mindset, listening to personal development books, listening to podcasts, learning and embracing that forever student mindset. Now, if you want one of our starter kits, that is what we mentioned, is what we're using for the Soul Fit Challenge. And it is a kit that has 4 amazing blends in it. And there's so much good that goes on. I won't go on to that because I know we've talked about that separately, but I did want to highlight what I consider one of the MVPs of the group is Soul Complete Protein Plus. So we'll go to the next slide. Now this is a plant-based protein powder, and you may be thinking, oh, it's another shake. It's not another shake. And like, I've done shakes, okay? I did, I did a specific shake for years and years and years. What I didn't realize is that when you have so much piled into one specific blend, you're probably not actually absorbing much of any of it at all. Same with protein. So you can read through this here. We put this in the Hope posted this in the Soul Fit Challenge Facebook group, and it's so important to realize that just because something is like, so many protein grams or whatever, you're like, I want the one that has the most protein. Most people are deficient in protein. Get the one with the most. Well, it's actually important to realize that you can't break down and assimilate or absorb that protein just because there's 50 grams versus, something smaller like, around 20 or so. And with the Complete Protein Plus, the Soul Complete it's just a very special blend because it not only has the pea protein, it's basic, but also has the great additions to it. So you've got the prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes, and you've got the adaptogens in there that help, with balancing your mood and your energy and all of that. So you're going to absorb the protein you need. You're going to utilize all those other nutrients that are in there, and then you're going to be able to it's going to help get rid of whatever else needs to come out of your body and just leave you feeling good. It's just such a great, if you're going to choose a protein drink, and especially a plant-based one, this one is so great. It's not too sweet. It's not an overpowering taste. We have the Dutch cocoa and the natural. I have to admit, I don't think I've tried the natural. Like I said before, I'm a chocolate junkie and I love the Dutch cocoa. It's just very, very smooth. It's very, very gentle. I know a lot of people that have tried shakes of different kinds and they just can't tolerate them well. They don't digest them well. I mean, I don't know anybody that has had trouble digesting Soul Complete Protein Plus. So I give it 2 big thumbs up as far as when people ask me my opinion on a protein shake. And now it's not a meal replacement shake unless you add a lot to it. Now it's just a little over 100 calories. And so you can add your nut butters, you can add extra, healthy fats with seeds and all that stuff if you want to. You can add frozen fruit, you can add avocado, frozen avocado chunks and frozen banana really make shakes kind of creamy. So you can just play with it and see how you like it. Sometimes I make smoothie bowls with it. You can make like no-bake treats with it. My boys, I have twin 6-year-old boys and an 11-year-old daughter and almost 11-year-old, and she acts much older than that. But they love it. And so I know I'm very confident in giving them any of the Soul products, really, but they think it's a milkshake. So I'll win because I know they got a ton of nutrition. They got really clean, easily digestible protein, and it helps keep them regular too. So I just really love it. So moving on to the next slide. And I just wanted to, I don't know if I can read this, so I'm going to pull it up right here on my phone. I kind of wrote really, really small text. I did not think about that. But I have it right here. So I just want to introduce you real quick before we wrap up. This is an amazing holistic weight loss testimony. My friend Heidi, that I know through Soul, because she is also a soul specialist and has her own health journey that she's been on. If you're friends with her on Facebook, you should watch her live. She did either yesterday or the day before. But she says, I started my weight loss journey 16 years ago, shortly after my dad passed away. I had been overweight my entire life, yes, literally. And at that time, I realized I never wanted my future children to lose me so young. I started with a nutritionist and tried what felt like everything: calorie restriction, exercising daily, limiting foods, etc. And I always gained the weight and then some back. In 2018, everything changed. I reached out to a friend to focus on other concerns, postpartum hormone balances and such. As at this point in life, weight loss took a backseat. What I found was my mindset shifted. I was finally giving my body the proper nutrition it always needed through supplementation. I felt better, I had more energy, and began to want to adopt a whole new, healthier lifestyle. I balanced my mind and body. This was the missing link in my lifelong weight loss journey. At this point, I was able to shift my diet to include much healthier options and increase my activity level. I am not an exerciser, so this means I had the energy to go on walks with my family and my dog, and or play outside with my son. I lost over 70 pounds. Not only did I lose the weight, I was able to keep most of it off during the worldwide pandemic. In my past life, this would have never been possible. To top it off, I didn't spiral when I saw that I did gain some weight back. Notice she didn't say all like before, so it wasn't a yo-yo. I just got back right to what I had previously been doing without a second thought. When I say Soul saved me, I really mean that literally. It gave me my life back and gave me my family a better mom and a better wife. So is that not fantastic? So Heidi's story is very inspirational, and she actually was never really consistent with Soul Complete Protein Plus until she joined the Soul Fit Challenge. And so she's in her, third week of using it, and she's lost another 7 pounds since starting that challenge. So isn't that awesome? And did you notice her focus was on all the other things, balancing out her life? She wasn't even focused on the weight loss, and that was kind of a byproduct. So I've heard this kind of story over and over and over again. I myself have gone through this. So if you feel like you're supposed to struggle and you're supposed to obsess and you just don't know where to go, start with the pillars of health, and let's kind of get you more balanced across all the different areas of life, because you are not meant to live your life, working out 4 hours a day and, counting every bite that you put in your mouth and all of that. You can lose weight a healthier way and really nourish your body from the inside out and be happy and be healthy. So I'll go ahead and toss it back to you guys so that we can share another part of this call. Oh no, I can't hear y'all. I don't know if everybody else can. I can't hear you.
That's really what we're all about. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So why don't you explain that again?
Yeah. Let me reverse. So what I was saying is I was watching the comments and I noticed we had someone on here. Steve actually had mentioned that he just started the products about 3 weeks ago and has been feeling a difference, not only physically, but spiritually and mentally as well, which is what I love, because it's what you explained, right? Like, this is holistic health. That's what our products, that's why we use adaptogens, so that we can address mind and body. So I love that.
Well, I was just excited that one of the Avengers has joined Soul, because his name was Steve Avenger.
I mean, technically that's correct. He is an Avenger.
One of the Avengers is part of Soul, so that was exciting. No, actually, I'm excited, Steve, that you have joined the Soul family. Welcome.
Awesome. And another quick question I had for you, Jessica. It's what Deanne had mentioned earlier, and I know you could probably talk for hours about this. And you mentioned how with nutrition, it's not always restriction that's necessary, right? Like sometimes we're under eating. For those people who have talked to someone and have identified, they're under eating or they're lacking in nutrients, what would you suggest for them to be able to get back on track?
Well, it's amazing to me how many people usually are under eating, and that whole diet mentality of thinking I've got to eat rabbit food and have really really small meals, and something different works for everybody. So as far as your eating method, you definitely need to kind of play with it. Like maybe intermittent fasting works for you. Maybe eating every 2 to 3 hours works for you. There's a lot of research behind gut health and what's actually best for your gut microbiome and all that. So you can kind of explore and talk to somebody that maybe be more well versed in that. But really tracking your food, I think, is really helpful, and logging that just to kind of see, like, take a sample for a few days. And if you're like grossly under eating, I mean, I don't know where that whole 1,200 calories for women suggestion came from for years. It's not enough, ladies, especially if you're working out every day, and or at least most days a week. And just really kind of starting by adding some healthy fat to your meal, or whether it's nuts or seeds or avocado, or adding some extra veggies or adding some extra fruit. Don't feel like you have to just like gorge, because I know there's it's a delicate situation for some people, but just start adding a little bit to all your meals when you do eat, and just kind of increase your calorie consumption overall, but have it be nutrient focused, not necessarily calorie focused, and really try to get that variety of nutrition. And pretty much everybody I've ever worked with and walked them through that suggestion, they all broke through their weight loss plateau once they ate more. And I know it sounds totally counterintuitive, but that's why the diet mentality needs to go.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I love hearing that because I think that's something that's just now kind of coming to light as more of a public knowledge type thing, because before it's like, oh, you're not losing weight, just eat less, right? And so it's so interesting because it's hard for some of us to shift that mindset that we've had for years of, oh, you have to eat less and exercise more to lose weight, and sometimes realize that it's actually the reverse.
Right.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I found actually as I get older that I have better results if I shorten my exercise time period.
Interesting.
Because my recovery is shorter and I'm able to exercise more frequently, but for a shorter period of time.
That's awesome.
Right. And that's another thing. Like, most people are under eating and over exercising and not allowing for that recovery. And, you're just really kind of spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere. So isn't that good news? Most people can actually eat a little more and work out just a little bit less and just do what you're doing really well. And then you'll find your balance with it. So the adaptogens.
That's great news.
And that's the key. That's the key. So thank you so much for your presentation, and congratulations on your new studio. That's exciting.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Jessica.
I know we have one more guest.
We do. Yeah, we have a soul specialist that actually we've talked to her before about Soul Complete specifically, and she's been using it for a long time. And we wanted to bring her on and have her share a little bit about her experience. So Lisa Tucker, are you out there? Hey, Lisa.
I am. Hello.
How's it going?
Thanks for having me.
Now,
Good.
I know, Lisa, you've been a
Doing really
big fan of Soul Complete almost from the time we introduced it. So tell us a little bit about how you use Soul Complete and kind of its importance in your overall holistic health regimen.
Right. I love so many things that Jessica was talking about. She's a girl after my own heart. And I loved when she was talking about we can eat really healthy, even nutrient-dense food. And if our gut is out of balance, we're not absorbing the nutrients. So I came into this situation a little, grossly underweight because I was really, really sick. My gut was compromised. I was eating organic. I was eating just about every type of food plan out there, trying all kinds of things. And I was not getting better because I was not absorbing any nutrients in the super healthy food that I was eating and juicing. So I started on a Soul program, and Complete was a part of that program. And almost immediately I began to absorb nutrients and get to a healthy weight. And I love it. I would say it's one of my favorite products. And I have a complete shake every morning. That is my breakfast, but I add a lot, like Jessica was talking about. I add many things to it to make it a full meal. And my husband and I actually both have it every morning and just love it. It has bridged the gap for me from not being able to eat hardly anything when I was so sick to now being able to eat healthy food and maybe sometimes a little unhealthy food, but just able to do life and feel like I have an abundant life. And I'm in better shape now at, I will say my age, 57, than I was much, much younger. So I am just so grateful for all the products, but I love Soul Complete.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa.
Yes, and you're a great example of soul and a great ambassador for Soul Naturals. So we really appreciate all that you do, and thanks for coming on and sharing that.
If I can real quick, when Lisa said she's in better shape now than ever, I am friends with Lisa on Facebook, and literally all the time she's like, oh, I got up and ran 8 miles today. So
it's true.
It's inspirational for me, honestly.
Yeah, she's in great shape.
I'm actually training for a sprint triathlon right now, so that I'm pretty stoked and excited about. And guys, I did not start. Yes. And I didn't start running until I was 55. I've never been a runner. That was after I started Soul. So, who knows what you could be when you get on a Soul program.
Right.
That is awesome.
Keep us informed as to how the sprint marathon goes. I'd like to know.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for joining us and sharing information about Soul Complete.
See you, Lisa.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Great information tonight.
I know. She's just so bright in her yellow tank top. She's from California. Just so bright when she came on.
Yeah, this whole program has just been filled with great information about getting fit, losing weight in a healthy way, holistically. And now, as we mentioned earlier, we are in week 3 of the Soul Fit Challenge.
Yep.
And tell them a little bit about what is the bonus assignment or goal that they have to do this week.
So like Lon mentioned, the normal goal, right, is to get outside and do some purposeful movement, or even if you do a at-home workout for 30 minutes a day, strive to hit that goal. And then the kind of bonus goal, the unofficial goal, is that you try a new form of movement that you either haven't done in a long time or that you've never tried. Actually, I was smiling the other day because when we posted about it on our Facebook page, someone mentioned that they were going to go back to tap dancing. They were going to do it and they hadn't done it in years. And I thought, that is so fun and unique.
Yeah, that's unique. And I'm going to share later this week, I'm going to share my new favorite workout. And it's short. Awesome. You can do it in like 20 minutes. I'm going to share that probably on Facebook. So look for that. All right. So I think that kind of concludes our program for tonight. I do want to remind everyone that our next virtual happy hour will be in May. It'll be on May 18th. So it will be the 3rd Tuesday in May after we get back from Soul to Soul.
Yep, so hopefully we look a little tanner or maybe redder by then.
Yeah, probably, in my case, probably redder. But it's going to be fun, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone that is going to be attending Soul to Soul, and we look forward to seeing and chatting with all of you in our next virtual happy hour. So thanks for joining us. Good night.